Well, it's time for the Pitching Doctor right here on A's Cast Live. Scott Emerson joining us as he does every single homestand. You have a special guest on your show today. Who is with us today?
The great Andrew Bailey right here. I mean,
you mean the rookie of the year, the last rookie of the year for the Athletics is here?
Hey, hopefully we can get one more. But, yeah, we got an outstanding human being right here and a great pitching coach.
You know, I think about, all the relationships that over the years that through this organization, they mean so much. And it's so great that we've talked to you. I covered you back in the day, but just think how far you guys go back and what Emo meant to you in your career as a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, Emo's been around this game for a long time, has done amazing things and worked with some really special athletes. And I was blessed to work with him as, far back as AA and probably some instructs there here and there. And so I've known him, almost 20 years now. So been blessed to be around a lot of special people first and foremost. And I'm always fortunate to kind of look back at my playing career and be with an organization that believes in its people, gives young players the opportunity to succeed. And I really don't think I would have had the career I had if I was somewhere else. And, with the likes of, Emo and Gil Patterson and G and Garvin and those guys, I wouldn't have the knowledge base I had or the playing career.
Yeah, go back to that story about AA getting called up. That was a special moment.
Yeah, for me, I can see it right now. Now in 2008,
I wasn't very good.
Well, let's be honest here. In 2008, Bales started for us for the Midland Rockhounds in the first half of the season, and it was kind of my suggestion that Bales move to the bullpen for a few weeks. And the only reason why I wanted him to move to the bullpen is to get that killer instinct for an inning and then learn to get it for 2 innings. And he went out there and dominated the second half out of the bullpen. And I mean dominated out of the second half of the bullpen. We were in spring training the next year, and Ron Romanek was now our bullpen coach. And Ron Romanek always thought Bales was a mini Schilling, and Gil Patterson thought he was a mini Mariano Rivera. So what happens is we turn this fastball more into throwing more cutters.
Yep.
And I'll never forget the day in spring training that year. I'm at a Little League game after spring training practice. I already knew that Bales made the team or was going to make the team, and it was a great moment for me personally. He actually called me and was so excited and said, Emo, I made the team. I made the team. And that's for a coach, players don't understand that that's all you want is you want to be able to be in that room and know that guy's going to a place where he wants to go. And when I was in AAA and we're sending guys to the big leagues, those were great moments. But that phone call from Bales, I already knew, but, he gave me the honor to give me a phone call, and that was something that I always remember.
It's so interesting now because bullpens have become such a big part of our game. They're pitching more innings than ever before, especially what we saw in the postseason. You guys are about to go to the postseason. We'll see how that works out for you. And it's so interesting because you're a starter, right? I'm a starter. I go once every 5 days. We recently did this with Mason Miller. Then all of a sudden you make the guy the closer, and now you're coming at the end of the game and you got a song. And when is it where you flip that you realize you like, hey, I kind of like this role?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really enjoyed, pitching high leverage moments, at the major league level. And I think what Emo spoke about is very true. Is I had lost my mindset. I had lost kind of what made me tick. I kind of fell into I got to be a starter. I got to nibble. I got to strike one here. And rather than just go blow doors, go be yourself, let it, like he said, that killer instinct. And I do remember my first start in AA that year. I dealt, I think it was even like 7 innings or something like that. And for some reason, I just kind of fell into this, like, I have to do something a little bit different, and pitch a little bit more. And so I always kind of like after my first or second year at the major league level, I was like, I can go back to starting now. Like I could do that,
Well, that was the point I was trying to make at the moment was, no, I want you to go back to starting, but he did so well in like the 3 weeks of relieving. They were like, why would we even do that? This guy's going to be a great major league reliever.
Yeah. So I think like, you know, and to have those lockdown guys, you know, at the back end is so special and vital to the health of the team, right? Because you got to go win the games that you can win, and to have those guys there that can just shut the door is vital to winning games at the major league level. And I think it is true. You know, you're kind of starting to see the fall away from the starters, but it's so valuable to have the guy that can go 6-7 innings and keep your team in the game. And when you have a couple of those throughout your rotation, it one can take some pressure off the bullpen, but two, it keeps everybody fresh as well.
For you now as a pitching coach, the fact that you did start and then you did closer at a high level, so you did both, how much does that help you with the mentality of helping your pitchers? Because you've been there, you've done that, you know each role.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, you know, Emo and I were just talking about bullpens day 2, day 3, and kind of the undulation throughout the course of the season of, you know, what you're kind of balancing with each guy. You know, but for me, I think first and foremost, I was kind of fortunate enough to kind of experience kind of it all, you know, like you guys were joking, you know, the rookie of the year stuff and the all-star stuff, but I was also non-tendered and hurt a lot and released and signed a minor league deal and pitched in AAA when I had 7 years in big league experience, and, you know, was released and, you know, went back to AAA. Yeah. So I've kind of run the gamut of experiences that you can have at the level. And I think to be able to mesh with other human beings at a personal level, I think it means a lot because I can kind of tap into a lot of those experiences. But my time here was full of highlights for me personally. And, you know, unfortunately we didn't do great as a team, but I had a lot of success out of the bullpen, and it's, you know, be able to tap into, you know, when we have young guys come up as relievers and we have young guys come up as starters, kind of tap into both of those things.
You know, that year in 2008 with Bales on the team, we also had Brett Anderson and Trevor Cahill, and all three of those guys made the big league team pretty much from Double-A.
Yep.
Brett went up to the Triple-A playoffs at the end of the season, and Cahill didn't. So basically, Bailey and Cahill went to the big leagues right out of Double-A, and for the most part, BA did as well. And that was great to see all three be able to go up at the same time.
Well, David Force tells us all the time that once you hit Double-A, you are on the radar.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think the landscape of minor league baseball has changed a lot, where you used to have a lot of, you know, veterans in AAA that were kind of insurance policies. And I think what you're seeing is the young guys that can come up and do the same thing. I mean, the game doesn't change. And what we spoke about with the mental game, it's the same game, you know, and these kids nowadays, you know, we have a young kid coming up tonight, making a start, and, you know, was in Double-A almost all year. You know, same thing with Peyton Tolley. He started in A-ball, and these kids are shooting up the systems nowadays, and, you know, take advantage when they're on runs.
What are we going to see from this kid tonight? Who is he? What do you got? What do you got?
What's the scouting report? You're probably going to tell him, hey, look, kid, the mound here is 60 feet, 6 inches, the same distance that the mound is in Portland and in Worcester.
And count leverage is key. Work ahead of your bat. So the game doesn't change, man. It really doesn't. You know, and you got to execute your game plan and know what you do really well. Obviously, sometimes that takes a little bit of experience and, you know, lumps and bruises across the way at the major league level. But, you know, be good at what you're great at.
You know, it's so interesting where each organization kind of has their own philosophies. I hear all the time that hitting is timing and pitching is disruption of timing. I get that all the time from this guy right here. I know there was a thing we talked to you last year in Oakland when we had you on this show on the field. You guys are throwing a ton of breaking balls. So just talk about, you know, from a standpoint, people like to say it's all about how an organization wants to go about it, but also a lot has to do with your personnel.
Yeah. Go ahead, Emo.
Well, yeah, you're right on the personnel. You know, if you don't have guys that can elevate fastballs with good hard sliders, you're probably not going to strike out as many guys. If you got guys that throw a lot of sinkers, then obviously you're going to be, you know, hopefully your defense is playing real good. So there's a lot of things to what you just said about having the personnel.
Yeah, to that point, I mean, I think when you look at what we did last year as a pitching staff, it was indicative of who we had personnel-wise. A lot of two seams, east-west shapes. And it's not like, you know, there's this mantra out there that, you know, the Red Sox don't like four seamers. We just don't like bad four seamers, you
Yeah.
know? So I think there's a difference there between guys with really good stuff, some good carries, some approach angle that can execute the top rail versus just throwing four seamers to throw four seamers. So there is utility in everyone's arsenal for it. How much you leverage it and how much you index it depends on the profile of it and some other components there. But yeah, we just had a makeup of we kind of inherited a pitching staff that was a little bit more east-west based. And I think that's why you saw the decline in four seamers last year.
Well, we're in a world now because we've got Baseball Savant and we got Fangraphs and everybody's an amateur GM. And all of a sudden they're looking at the Red Sox. They're like, Red Sox never throw fastballs anymore. They don't like throw fast. It's like, it's about your personnel more than because the media will take stuff because everybody's looking for some type of content. How much do you just, I guess, laugh at that when you go, that's not, this guy threw fastballs. You're really good at it. I mean, it's not like you hate fastballs.
No, absolutely not. I mean, yeah, you just kind of try and speak the truth. It's like, hey, we just don't have that type of arsenal or that type of personnel, but really just maximizing each pitcher, right? We want them to be the best versions of themselves every single time out. And we're not just going to arbitrarily throw pitches that, don't really, perform that well.
At some point in time, your fastball is either useful or it's not useful, right? So when you throw it, not the percentages, but when you throw it, they got to be executed, or you're not going to throw them as much if you can't just execute it. I know I learned this as a young pitching coach, in 17, I was trying to get guys to pitch inside a little bit more ahead in the count and work on it. And then the next year I was hoping we had it mastered, and no, he keeps giving up hits on inside fastballs. So I said, you know what? You can't go inside. You got to elevate and go above. That's where your fastball plays best. When you keep throwing it inside, it gets pounded. When you throw it to the top of the zone, you're better. So that's what the data is for. We're always diving into data. We have analysts. We have a team of analysts. Both of us have a team of analysts. And we're actually going to say, where does this fastball play the best? And that's everything. Count, advantage, execution-wise. Can he execute his fastball? For me, they need to be able to execute it when they throw it. And location is key. You could have a 14-vert fastball at the top third. You're going to be really good. You could have a 16-vert fastball down the middle, and you're hoping and praying. 16 is going to play down the middle better than 14, but 14 at the top third will play better than 16 down the middle. So that's where you got to get this guy to be able to execute his fastball. You can get this guy just to throw his fastball. You got a 20-inch carry heater and a guy who can't throw strikes. You might set up a little bit more middle or a little shade more up, a little more shade down. That's where the data comes in. You got 17 inches of horizontal and you're telling a guy to throw a sinker right down the middle. The plate's only 17. Down the middle, that thing's a ball. So, you're finding your angles, you're finding where your VAA and all your horizontal approach angle. All these things mix into your arsenal. And I've had to learn this over time, as Bailey has too. He got his knowledge of it probably was ingrained right at the beginning of his career because that's when it came out, and mine picked up in the middle of my career.
You didn't have that when you were playing with Michael Jordan or against Michael Jordan back in the day?
Well, we didn't have it optimized or quantified. We knew what a ride fastball was.
You didn't even have cell phones at that point, let's be honest.
I can tell you this, in the 8th grade, when I got the 2 strikes, my dad would yell from the other side of the dugout, give him the dreaded high hard one. So
well, this is interesting to me because my wife is a first grade teacher, right? So this is when human beings are really starting to learn, right? And she'll tell you that all the kids in her class are different.
Yes.
And they all learn differently. I'll take first grade to the big leagues. All of your pitchers are different. Yes. There may be some guys who know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And there may be other guys who look at this data and go, what is it? So how important is it to know your pupil and to know 100%. What they can absorb and what they cannot?
Yeah. And on first grade math, I got 3 kids. I have no idea how to do math anymore, by the way. 7th grade, 5th grade, kindergarten, whatever, like they just learn it differently. So it looks like a different language to me. But anyway, yeah, you gotta meet meet the player with where they're at. Each and every, like you talked about, each and every organization prioritize different things. So not everybody preaches the same things. Everyone's data could be a little bit different. Maybe the organization values something else. So you also have to take inventory on when you acquire a player from a different organization of what they've been kind of coached up on or what they've learned over their tenure with a prior organization. So there's a lot of nuance there. And then, of course, you have all the, third-party facilities that prioritize other things as well. So it's kind of how it all blends together. Understand that there's different aptitude for every player as well. Some need all the information. Some just need a little bit. Some need just, hey, go compete. And some you need a little bit more, catered setups and, different things there. But, and same thing with bullpens and TrackMan data and everything blended in between. So, but if you find the cue, it could be spin efficiency, could be gyro degree, could be tilt, could be vert, could be whatever location, just cue in on those things with each individual.
All right, let's end on this. I know you got to go, and it's been great to have you here. It means so much whenever we have your time. I wish you guys came to town more often, by the way. It sucks you only come down one time.
Well, we got you guys in Fenway. You making the trip next week?
Not making the trip, but we can set up a Zoom. But, I do a show here. We do the NBC show, pre- and post-game with Steve Sachs. And I know Rookie of the Year, it's a big deal. For the rest of your life, you were Rookie of the Year. And Nick Kurtz is probably going to win it. And somehow, if he doesn't win, it's going to be Jacob Wilson. Just for you, tell us, winning that award, Rookie of the Year, what did it mean for you in your life, your career, when you look back on it?
Yeah, it's a special honor. I mean, like you said, it's something that no one can take away. Probably one of the best years of my life, to be honest with you. From a baseball standpoint, just every day, just focused, and just things just kind of went my way, so to say. And I was very focused on my routines and stayed very consistent. But for me, I mean, I think winning that award allowed me the opportunity to kind of continue to play when things weren't going great. It was like other teams kind of saw hey, wow, this is what he was at some point in time. And I think you always end up, as a player, you want to chase that performance, and you're always dreaming on that 1 year. And for me, it always set the ceiling of what I knew I could do and how good I could be at this level. And it kind of gave me the, after my surgeries and all that stuff, it was always like that ceiling I wanted to kind of recreate. I found it for bits and moments of time after my surgeries, but very, very special. I'll never forget, the Bay Area. And even with my time in San Francisco, I love this area. I love coming back here, being with you guys, and winning Rookie of the Year with the Oakland A's is, like you said, something no one can ever take away. And it means a lot, not only because winning that award, but the people in the organization that I still come across, and in not only in this organization, but around the league that are still infiltrated here. So just the people first. And it just means a lot to me.
Townie,
your pupil's done pretty well for himself.
Well, I think he talks about that Rookie of the Year. If you look up Bales' second year, he would have won Sophomore of the Year too. So I mean, his second year was unbelievable as well. Look it up, folks. I mean, it's an under 2 ERA. There was a lot of games. He would have won Sophomore of the Year.
It is funny. I'll have Giolito, I think just a couple weeks ago, he's like, "Hey, I was watching highlights of you on YouTube. I didn't know you were that good." It was kind of funny, but I'm older now, but it is cool to get the younger guys that kind of look up your history and ask you questions and ask me specifically about that year. So it's or the All-Star games or whatever, but it's a feather in the cap, and it's a good talking point, and it's great that the players actually know that I was decent when I played. So
yeah, our guys looked me up and went, "Who the hell are you? What the hell have you ever done, Emo?"
Well, they should have looked up your basketball stats.
Yeah, sure.
Triple doubles.
Your best pitch really was your pickoff move.
Well, you'll always be an A, no question about it. No question. And it was an honor to cover you, and it's always great to have you on. Good luck to you guys in the postseason, and we'll be following. And Emo, I think this is one of the best ones we've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, just to have Bales sitting next to me is an honor.
Yeah, thank you guys.
A special edition of Dr. Emo right here on A's Cast Live.